Welcome back to Digo Yo. This episode is a little different. This interview is a little special for me. It's about survival, motherhood, loss, resilience, and love. And today, I'm sitting with my wife, Jose.
Mm-hmm.
How you like to be called? Jose? I call you Jose, but I know people call you like
After how many years you asking me?
No, not for me. Like people that's getting to know you today, that's like seeing you for the first time.
My name is Rosemary.
Right.
That's my government name.
Yeah.
A lot of people call me Josie. Those are my close friends.
Josie.
You call me Jose.
That's three down already. That's three.
And then my family calls me Jadira, which is my middle name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jadira is nice. I got so used to calling you. At first it was Josie. Then Joe's just kind of just slipped right in.
Let's go back to the fact that there's a siren. Well,
yeah, we're recording. We can't get rid of the emergencies. They gotta get somewhere.
No, let's go back to the fact that when you met me, I had a name tag on, and you couldn't even pronounce my name. And you're like, "Hey, can I call you Josie?" And I said, my name is Rosemary, but sure.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure like everybody else when I first met you, Rosemary is very close to Rosemary. And I've never met anybody named Rosemary. So I had to figure out how to put those. For me, it was almost two different names, Jose and Mary. Like, and I had to.
Yeah, gotta blame my parents for that. But
it's a beautiful name.
Thank you. I don't mind being called Josie. I do not like to be called Rosemary because that Y
you get that all the time. You get
yeah,
that. I've been there when they call you that. You're like, oh. And what's one that they call you one? That's
Jose Mari. Starbucks really butchers your name.
Starbucks is out of control. I went to Starbucks with my friend Jose, and they spelled his name with an H.
Huh?
Yes. They spelled Jose with an H, and we have it proof on the cup, which is wild.
Interesting.
Yeah. How you liking this weather though? We're getting some really serious cold winter. This is a cold winter.
I don't think you should be even asking me that question because you know me. I'm a true Caribbean woman, and I do appreciate my vitamin D, my palm trees, sand, sun, beaches. Yeah. I question myself, what am I doing in this state? But
tell the people where you're from.
I am originalmente from Dominican Republic. La mejor isla del mundo, el mejor país.
It is beautiful, I ain't gonna lie.
Yes, I am originally from the Dominican Republic. I was born in Santiago, and I left when I was 5 years old. And my parents migrated to New York, Washington Heights to be exact. And I lived there for a bit until I was 15, and my parents decided to move to Florida.
Wait, but when you were in Washington Heights when you were 15, like what year was that?
I came in 82. Let's do the math. Take out your phone.
Let's give a take, like in the 80s, right?
In the 80s.
So you were in the Heights in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people right now living in the Heights is enjoying the Heights because it is on fire. There's so much things happening. It's alive, and it's wild to live in the Heights now because it's so busy, right? So was it the 80s the same way, or was it just another type of craziness? Because I'm 80s. I mean, I love the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, and I love it.
You told me you're way older than I am.
Yeah, but I wasn't. Not that old.
Only 9 years older, but okay. So in the 80s, you know that Washington Heights, those people that are from Washington Heights or from New York, you know, back then it was, you know, the drug dealers in the street, like really bad things happening. And as a parent now, I would not want to raise my children in that environment. So that's why my parents decided to move to Florida because, you know, they didn't think that two young girls should be exposed to seeing things, even though these things happen anywhere you move to. But, you know, for giving us a better life, they decided to move to Florida.
Nice.
And I was hating life.
You hated it.
Of course, imagine I
Well,
went
yeah, I could get
to,
that. 15 years old.
yeah, I went to school from elementary to middle school to 1 year of high school with the same people. And then your parents like, yeah, we're gonna get you out of that
Now that you
environment.
settled in, we're going to take you back out of that little
Yes.
box you're comfortable in.
So they took me out of that environment, and then I go to Florida, complete different vibe. I didn't have any friends, but I made friends, but it's different. It is very, very different. It was definitely something for me that has shaped me to be the person that I am today, because I have the ability to adapt to different situations. So that's a plus, right?
That's right. Was there a reason why you chose, or not you, but your parents chose Miami? Because you could, I mean, Florida is huge.
I have no idea why.
Was there family there already? Settled in?
One cousin was there.
Just one cousin?
One cousin.
Was it for work, maybe?
No,
No?
not for work.
It was just that's the city they chose. And
Right.
okay.
And I think when my dad went to visit, he's like, "Oh wow, it's nice and warm. It's like Dominican Republic with a twist of the States." Even though it's in the States, but you know what I mean? Like, oh
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
I feel like I'm in the Caribbean, but it's
Even Miami was different back then.
Oh, yeah.
Scarface era, bikinis, guys shirtless with Speedos up and down
hasn't changed.
South Beach.
It's still like that. What are
Yeah,
you
but
talking
now they're walking around with Timberlands and shorts and tank tops, and it's a little different fashion. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were in Miami. I mean, you did your life there, right? You went to school.
I finished high school there. I finished a year early, actually. So
Smarty pants, huh?
something like that. So I finished a year early, and my last year I was in this program called Future Business Leaders of America. So I went to school for like one class. And then the rest of the marking period was just like a work experience. And I worked in for Century 21, which is, it's crazy. But yeah, I worked in this company, and I have stories, but we'll leave that for another time. So yes, I went to school there. I went to college, graduated, got married, had kids, got divorced. So many things happened. Yes.
Yeah. So how many kids did you have?
Two.
2 kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My baby girl, Melanie, which is my angel. She's my guardian angel. And my son, Chris. He's 26.
I know Chris.
You know Chris?
I know
Good
Chris.
kid.
Yeah, he is a good kid.
Yeah, 2 kids.
I mean, without him, we wouldn't be together.
If
It
you
was
put it
all.
that
It
way.
was really all up to him. I remember when we met, and we were going back and forth, and we'll get into it later on. At the end of the day, we had to make a choice what we're going to do with each other, and it was really up to him because he didn't want to actually get him out of his element without him wanting to be taken out of his element because he was born and raised there.
Not really. It went down like this. When you and I met, the deal breaker was, no, I did not want to date at all in any way, shape, or form. And it kind of just happened. It just, I guess it fell on both of our laps like, oh, hey, here you go. And I definitely did not want to do that whole long distance relationship. So I remember telling you when we met, I think you're a really nice guy, but yeah, this is not gonna work out. You live in New York and I'm in Florida, but we never stopped speaking.
No, you looked at it that way, and I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah,
And when I met you,
you were a psycho, though. By the way,
it was a good cycle
you were.
because it worked out.
I'm like, oh my god, this guy is crazy. Why is he following me? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so It's like when you're saying, no, 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 I don't want this. It's like the more, like the universe is like, well, it's not what you want. This is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But we have choices in life. And then we chose when, we spoke. We spoke from the day we met to still speaking.
Yeah.
Well, that's that one time that I gave you the silent treatment, like for a whole week. But that's a different story. But anyway, I remember at one point when things got very, very serious, I said to you, if my son is not on board with this, you go your way and I go my way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came down to like, okay, you're going to move up or, up north. And at that moment, I had to make a decision. So the deal breaker was Chris. So Chris, when I spoke to Chris, Chris says, yeah, when do I pack? When do I go?
Yeah. When I heard that he said that, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And then our journey started at that point,
Yeah.
and here we are.
Here we are.
So tell me a little bit of your other child, Melanie.
Melanie, what do you want to know?
Yeah, I never got a chance to meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have.
Physically, you mean? Because
Physically correct.
I think you already know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Melanie is, I'm not gonna say was, because she is, like, she's part of me. Everything that I do, or for the most part, it reminds me, or the things that I do, I mean, is her. And even in Chris, I see a lot of her in Chris. And the pictures, when you look at her pictures and you look at him and you look at me, is just something about her eyes. It's like that little shine is in both Chris and I's eyes.
Yeah. They were only like 2 years apart, right?
They're 2 years apart. Yeah. I see a lot of her in both my nieces, especially my youngest niece.
Yeah, our nieces.
Yeah,
They're so cute.
There's a lot of resemblance there, but my daughter was one of my biggest gifts and one of my biggest lessons. And I say lesson is because I knew there, right then and there, what unconditional love really is. And as a parent, we say we love our kids no matter what. And yes, we do. But this was a different kind of unconditional love.
Yeah. So for those who don't know what's going on with Melanie and stuff, what actually happened?
Well, Melanie was diagnosed at the age of 2 with a congestive heart failure, and the doctors only gave her 1 year to live, and that was at age 2. And I did everything in my power to get her better. I went to different doctors. I think I went to like 5 other doctors for second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. I took her to Dominican Republic. That was the last doctor I took her to for an opinion. And it hit different because when they tell you in Spanish, like in your native language,
Yeah.
hey, love her, care for her, because she's not going to last you. She doesn't have much time left.
Those are some serious.
It's different.
That is some serious words to hear.
And when I heard that, like, I just broke down completely. And in my head, I knew what was happening, but inside of me, I couldn't accept it. I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen. No. And the biggest thing is for you to plan your child's passing, because that's not normal. Quote unquote normal is what society calls normal is for our children to bury their parents.
Right.
Yeah.
As parents, correct.
But it is very, very difficult. It took me many, many, many years to grieve. Many. Because grief looks different on everyone. The way that I did it was I still in my head, I'm like, yep, this didn't happen. And I just buried myself in work. At one point, my parents took me to a psychiatrist because they thought I was losing it. And the psychiatrist prescribed some medication for depression. And I took it. I took it for a week. And that medication gave me suicidal thoughts. And disclaimer, if you are taking antidepressant and they're working for you, great. But antidepressants were not good for me. So, with that being said, I'm not saying to stop taking your medication. When I got those thoughts, I took the bottle and I poured the remaining pills down the toilet. And I had a wake up call when one morning I was knocked out. I just could not wake up because I was so groggy from these medications. And Christopher was just like, Mommy, wake up. Mommy, wake up. Take me to school. That's when I snapped out of it. I stopped taking the pills and I swore that I was just going to swallow my feelings, tuck them in real deeply, and move on and just dedicate myself, my heart and soul to my son. And that's exactly what I did. And not that I wasn't dedicating myself to my son, obviously, but I was grieving, but I was protecting him by not showing him how I was feeling or, everything is fine, which that's not good too, because all emotions are valid. And I wish I would have shown him, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel sad. And I did take him to the doctor, and they did an evaluation on him, and they didn't think that he needed therapy at that point. So I followed the doctor's recommendation, and his therapy was his grandparents. And I'm so grateful for my parents.
Yeah.
My parents did absolutely everything in the world to keep Christopher happy. Christopher has been to more resorts than I have. My son has been traveling since he was 6 months old.
Yeah.
My parents every year would take him twice, 3 times a year on vacation. I'm very happy, very grateful to have parents like I do.
Yeah, I think your parents, ever since I've met them, they've been nothing but just rocks to support their family. I've never seen them not be there for any of their kids. Whenever anyone needs anything, they're jumping up to take care of whatever situation it is. And you would think that that's how all the parents should be. But the truth is that there are some parents that lack, some parents that run from responsibilities, and there's some parents there that just give up their lives and make sure that their kids' lives are now what's important moving forward. And yeah, your parents has been the rock since day one. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My parents are my biggest supporter. And my sisters, of course, my sister, of course. That foundation that was built for my sister and I is unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched. And although when we were younger, we like question or we get mad at our parents, like, oh my God, like when they moved me to Florida, this is the end of my life. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, you're acting 15.
Yeah, and it was like the best thing that happened to me.
Right. And then with that, your mom, when you went through that with Melanie, you have to almost remember that you had a son that needed his mom, and through your grief, you had to kind of say, "All right, slap yourself and wake up from this and not get over it, but learn to move with through your life with this grief that's happening. Figure out how you're going to do that, because you still had Chris you had to take care of. And then now your parents step in and go, we got you. What do you need? And you're right. Therapy sometimes come within either family members, best friends, the most least expected people you think. And this strength, the strength that you got came from your parents.
Yeah.
They supported you. You went to school through some hard times that you had to deal with. You went through school. In the middle of that, you had, after her passing, you were separated. You got divorced.
Yeah, I was divorced. When Melanie passed, I was divorced already.
Yeah. And so all that, and you still made a career, a successful one, because you became a hygienist.
I did.
And you learned to be a hygienist, not just somebody who sits there and clean teeth, but you learn all the aspects and all the branches that being a hygienist comes with. So you did, as a hygienist, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You worked as a hygienist. Let's get that first. You worked for almost like a I don't know, what would you call the hygienist that went around and did. I don't want to mention any names.
Okay. So hygiene, dental hygiene is a field that's very broad. So as a dental hygienist, you're able to work in private practice, which that's what I did. I did public health. I did academia, so I taught for a little bit. I did the role that I'm currently in now is research. So I'm able to have,
Wait, you skipped a whole bunch of stuff. Man. You
No, I
wait a
think
minute. So you went to schools and you did free dental screenings for kids that can afford to go to the dentist.
That's
with an
public
organization that was the program.
That's public health, yes.
Public health. And then you went to teach.
Yeah.
You were teaching at a university.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And then and now you're doing research.
Yep.
Through another huge, great institution.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much. But hygiene was not my first career. It's my second career. My first career is business administration. So I was able to, I guess, utilize both my degrees and do what I do now, and it's great. And obviously, thanks to my parents who have always supported me. Dentistry was like my number one choice, but because I started a family at a very young age, my path just took a slight detour. Mm-hmm. And and then I actually went and I pursued what I really wanted to do, later on. And not later on, but I was still young. I was 25. Yeah, 25 when I went back. So,
what do you mean, 25 when you got your degree as a hygienist?
I was 27 when I graduated hygiene school.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a period where...
Am I throwing my age out there?
Not yet. There's a period where, you was a hygienist in Miami, but then we met. And then there were other challenges, right? Because you wanted this relationship. I wanted this relationship.
I didn't want this relationship.
Whatever.
That was you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
And so we did what we had to do, right? We ended up being together and making it work. And we were going back and forth. You were visiting me here. I was visiting you there. Back then, there was Skyping. It was emailing.
Oh, wow. Skype.
Still got those emails. And
you know what? So do I. I was cleaning out my inbox the other day.
Not erase those things.
I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, there's some really nice emails. Because that's all we had back then. And I love the way we met because we didn't have, like now, if we would meet now, we're going to restaurants, we're going out to, to the park, we're doing activities, we're getting to meet each other through those things. And sometimes those things could be distracting depending where you go.
How so?
Because if you go, let's say, to dinner, you could only talk so much before the food comes out, and you're talking, but you're eating, and you're speaking, but you're eating might be too loud. And then after that, we go somewhere else and maybe kind of go to another place, unless we go to some quiet place and have conversations. So wherever now, this is just me now thinking that that's how it would be if we were dating now, that if we decide to go to a quiet place, that's something that had to be decided upon, because everywhere that you would want to go is just if we go to a comedy club, or we go to a concert, or we're just getting to know each other. So we're doing all these activities. That's what people do when they meet. So we didn't have that, right? We had conversations for hours and hours and hours a day, emails, Skype. Like, we were getting to know each other in a way that I think, and we didn't have any distractions, right? We didn't have we weren't addicted to phones. Even the phones were out, but we weren't, like, it wasn't like it is today. And so I like the way that we met. I like the way how we got to know each other, because it was almost like we had no choice, but that was the only options we had, because we lived, thousands of miles apart. And so I really like the way that actually happened, And eventually you came up north, right? When you came up here and you started working, but you just didn't stay as a hygienist. You were real busy, right? We were always busy. We opened up a few businesses together, which is awesome. I love that we did that. And so now you're working a lot of things on your own, and so am I. And we come to join together and we work together, but we both have a lot of things that we're doing on our own. And so what are the things that you're working on now on your own?
Well, I have to take it back to my grieving process. So I'm going to say about 5 years ago, I took a training course for human design. And human design is a tool that helps you know yourself energetically and how you're meant to move in the world without resistance. And that's when I officially started grieving. And it's like one of the best tools that anyone could use. And because I did your human design.
Yeah. What am I? A generator?
You are a generator. Yeah.
What does that really mean? What am I? It's a generator.
A generator, you are here to respond to life's force. You're one of life's forces. So you get like these nudges, or you have like that gut feeling. So if I tell you, hey, Will, let's go skydiving, you immediately you know exactly if you want to go or not. Inside you're like or
Right.
Those are like, they're called like sacral signs. But anyhow, you are a generator, and it's not so much how your energy works, but is basically who are we really meant to be in this world, because we are so conditioned to be human beings that we're not. For instance, you were raised by your grandmother, and your grandma taught you manners where you're sitting at the table and you don't speak with your mouth full. It's just bad manners to do that. Or like you're humming when you're eating. But because you're a generator, your sacral is always like, especially with children, is always very active. The humming, like, that's rude. So your grandma's going to tell you, Papo, no haga eso.
Right.
Or your grandma is asking you, Papa, did you go to school today? And you're like, mm-hmm. And she's going to say, is it yes or no?
Right. It's almost a disrespect.
Right. So that's just an example. But anyhow, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about all my family members when I pull up their chart. So back to your question, what am I doing now? So I've utilized that tool, and I did something called like a sip and vibe a few years ago, and it went really well when we, instead of sip and paint, we did a sip and vibe based on everyone's chart. So
So wait. So everybody had their charts?
their charts.
Because sip and paint for me is you sip and paint, you copy whatever the artist is so you kind of copy that. So they were actually drawing their chart,
Their chart.
which you had done before
provided
for them,
for them.
provided for them.
Yes.
So they had their actual chart. So are you kind of going one-on-one with them around the table, explaining like what the chart means and stuff, or they already know?
So that sip and vibe, it was just a general, understanding of the different types of energy. There's different types of energy, and it was really great. Great feedback. I would definitely do it again. And of course, I stopped because imposter syndrome is like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this. Like, oh my God, I don't think I'm good enough, and you know that fear of not being good enough. Anyhow, so what am I doing now? So I put my fears to the back burner and say, you know what? There's only one life that we're living. And I do not want to leave this lifetime with regrets.
That's so important. You've
So,
said that to me so many times.
yep,
It's a load,
absolutely.
because what happens when you leave this life with regrets?
Yeah.
You told me this before. What happens?
You come back.
You come back.
Karma.
It's never, your job is never finished.
It's not done. Yeah.
And I feel like I have so much, not regrets, I have so much unfinished things going on in my head. And my head is always running, and so I feel like I'm afraid that I'm going to pass with so much regrets of not doing all the things I want to do.
Well, we can't live in fear.
I'll be back, in other words.
You cannot be fearful, like, oh my God, how about, you have to be in the present moment, and you have to live out your design. You're here to respond to the world. And one of the things that I wanted to do for many, many, many years, I think even before you and I met, was write a children's book. So I'm in the process. Yes, I'm in the process of writing my first children's book. I'm in the process of having my affirmation cards for kids, which that should be done.
Affirmation cards for kids.
You didn't know that, right? Because I didn't tell you. It's something that I've been working on.
I see. I mean, we used to do a lot of affirmations. I love that, and you do a lot. You write a lot of these things on paper, and but for kids, it's, now that I think about it, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this project. Like, it's like so dear to my heart. So dear. Like, I think about it and I just want to I want to cry, but cry of, happiness. So that's being worked out. That's why today I sent you a message and I said, hey, king of, research, can you please research this for me? It's a little thing that I want to include in the package.
I never question anything you ask me to find, because because you're always working on something, right? So it's something that you're always going to need to do something. I say, well, she must be working on something, whatever it is, some project, whatever. So I don't mind looking for it. But now I see. So what you asked me to find was with the card placements for the kids.
Throwing it out there, yes.
No, it's just there's a lot of not to kind of,
yes.
But yeah.
So the design is done. I'm just missing a few little things here and there, and I'm very excited about these two projects. I found an illustrator, which has been very difficult to work with someone that is going to bring your vision to life, because this book is so dear to my heart. It's about my daughter, and you know how I am about my kids, so it has to be perfect. And I think this illustrator captured what I am looking for, and the message that I wanna share with the world. And then finally, and not finally, but my website is coming along. And then I'll be sharing, hopefully when this episode airs, I'm going to have all that information and then we can link it to the bio here.
Yes, we'll definitely
Right?
do it.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Wow.
So yeah, I have a lot going on.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I wanna also touch on something that it's also affected me. I said to you once that it's just so hard to talk about because it really is. It's for me everything. The thing is, getting older, you start losing a lot of family and friends. That's what getting older for me is, the negative part of it, right? Because the older you get, of course, the older your friends get, and if you have older family members or so on and so forth.
But it's not a negative thing. Getting older is not negative, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but we're not gonna be here forever. We're not. We have our expiration date. We don't know what that date is. That's why life is always a mystery, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And it is unfortunate that our loved ones will leave us, the physical aspect of it. And I think I know where you're going with this. And it's something that I don't want to go too much into it because it's very, very raw. It's too fresh for me. And is the passing of my father. And this podcast, the name is honoring him. And I'll let you, share that story. And I'm sure you've already shared that story in your intro for the podcast. But my father passed in 2024, and he was the main foundation for our family. When I tell you everything, I'm the oldest of two. So there was a lot of expectations from me, but my dad and I were very, very, very close, and he has left a big emptiness in my heart, and it is very hard to deal with, and grief sucks. But we all grieve differently. And today I'm okay, but there are days that I am not okay, that I don't want to even get out of bed. And my parents were married for 50 years. And their marriage was not perfect, obviously, because no relationship is perfect. But the respect that they have for each other, they used to fight a lot, but that respect that they have for each other was very admirable. Like, anyways, yeah.
I know exactly how you feel. I mean, my grandmother, when she passed, and we're going at least 18 years now that she's passed, and there's no book that's made for grieving. There's probably hundreds of them, but I'm saying that you could read and you could get over somebody's death. It's impossible. Right now, we talk about my grandmother in debt, about her and how she is. Give me 5 minutes, I probably stop bawling, because that's just you don't never stop grieving. And the loss of your dad, the time that he was in my life, he taught me so much. Till today, when I'm ready to redo my garage, and me and him would have done that with no problem. But I have to take what he's taught me, which was, there's nothing you can't do. He will look at something and figure it out and put it in his little notebook and go Home Depot and get the pricing. We're not buying nothing. We just want to look. And I love that. And I look at that, I go in my garage and I look at this and I'm looking at that and I'm taking notes and I'm catching myself doing what he did. because it worked for him. And I watched him and I loved that he did that. And it's so old school and it worked. And then digo yo is just something he always said. And there was no other way for me to honor him.
The sarcasm.
The sarcasm. You know, hey, I know you're making rice, but if you don't put the top on there, it's not going to cook well. Digo yo. And he walks away like, oh man, I gotta put the top on. I gotta do that because it's not. If I don't do it, it don't cook well. He goes like, I kind of told you. So, yeah, he's a big figure that's going to be missed for.
But can I tell
forever.
you something? I have no regrets. When someone passes, they're like, oh, I wish, I would have done this, or I wish I would have spent more time with that person. Or I could literally say that I did everything for my dad. Everything. From reading a letter like, hey, ven acá.
Right.
He was like, coming.
Right.
Dios Mary, coming. Give me
Léeme
eso.
Or you wanted me to order something online. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a point when I would walk into this house and like I wouldn't even want to come home because I was expecting to see my dad sitting on that island telling me what he cooked and that I better eat the food because he cooked it, and he would be so upset when he cooked and you wouldn't eat his food.
And what a good cook he was.
And one of the things that I do miss is when I get off from work, I used to call him. And there's times that I pick up my cell phone and I want to call my dad, but I can't. So I call my mom too. So this is me, 49 years of not having him, right? Imagine my mom, 50 years. So I always think like, oh my God, I lost my dad. I lost my guy. I lost, my first love. My mom lost her life partner. She lived more years with her husband than she did with her parents.
And without him.
Right. And I have to have a little bit more, I guess, patience with her and understanding. Sometimes I get upset, like, oh, Mom, come on, let's do it. She doesn't want to do anything. And I understand why.
She's so strong, though.
She sure is.
She's so strong. 50 years of having that partner with her, and now she gets to live without him, and he almost has no choice but to do that. And for 50 years, it has such a routine, and now she doesn't have that. It's hard. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
I heard this saying one day that it kind of gave me a nice reflection on what was going on.
I'm not coming back to this podcast. They didn't offer me coffee. I'm drinking this tea.
You have hot tea.
There's no Kleenex.
Oh, man.
My God.
Where's my assistant?
I'm not coming back here. Your assistant is probably playing video games.
Anybody in production could bring me some? No. So I saw this saying. I heard this saying from this gentleman. He said, when somebody's passing, just think about it this way. They weren't in our lives for the rest of our lives, but we were in their lives for the rest of theirs. And I think he was able to see his daughters married. I'm hoping you're happily married. So his other daughters happily married. He got to see his grandchildren. And he saw with the seeds that he planted, and what everybody was. It's just his family was beautiful to him, and I think that statement about we were in his life as long as he lived, I think really made me feel like I'm happy for that he was able to see his daughters grow into beautiful women, into wives and mothers, and got to see his grandchildren. And I think that's so big for that person because he deserved all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all over this house.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. We love you, Capitan. That's for sure. All right. So let's get back to your book.
What do you want to know?
Do you have a date that you might be releasing it yet, or you're still working on publishing it and working on there?
So the story is already written. Again, it's based on production, illustrator. I'm self-published, so it's a little bit different. I'm just working on a little like details here and there. And that's pretty much it.
Inspired by your daughter.
Inspired by Melanie.
Everybody has a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what we have, it's beautiful. I love our marriage. I love what we have. I always said to you, I wish I would have met her. I always wonder what school she would have gone to, what she would have studied, what she would have looked like. But she's in our hearts and our mind. So is your dad. And we utilize what they left us with to get to be stronger, to do things like write a book, redo my garage, and so we give him credit for that. So in all of my interviews, I have this segment that I do that is 7 questions. I throw you with 7 questions.
I don't know about that.
Right. And I wrote them up this morning. So I throw you with
it to me.
Yeah, right. That'll be cheating. So I'll throw you with 7 questions. And just you give me brief answers, nothing crazy. You've said so much already, so maybe these questions are probably answered already in our conversations. So let's go with the first one.
Okay.
All right, so this is 7 questions, digo yo. Ready? When you look back at the different versions of yourself as a young woman, the mother, the student, the businesswoman, which version was the hardest to become and why?
The woman that had to carry grief and continue on with her life, always putting myself last because I had to take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that was the hardest version of me. Being a mother it came natural. It's natural. Being a student and a professional, that requires effort. But living with grief and carrying it's very difficult.
Yeah. That's deep. I get that. You got to move on and live on, not forgetting the grief, but with the grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you. Number 2, you build careers and businesses while carrying responsibilities most people never see. What did discipline teach you that motivation never could?
That's a hard one. I don't know how to answer that. I guess discipline taught me that progress doesn't require perfectionism.
Say that again. Yeah, say that again. That's good.
And
No, so for real, say that again. Repeat it.
why do you want me to repeat it?
Because it's good.
Discipline taught me that progress does not require perfectionism.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's almost separate.
Completely.
Yeah. And people get confused. They get caught up in all that they have to do everything all together, and you don't.
Yeah, story of my life.
Discipline is consistency is so important,
Even when no one is watching. So
Facts.
yeah.
Very true. All right, great. Number 3, success looks different when you have had to earn everything. How do you personally define success now, and how has that definition changed over time?
Success before was checking off all the boxes. So I've done this. Everything was like a routine. Now Success is being aligned with the things that are meant for me and being present in the moment.
Very good. I get that.
Do you really?
Yeah. And we get, you have to put yourself ahead of everything and question, the things that you're doing, why you're doing them. And at the end of the day, you're doing it because you want to do it. It's important for you, not for nobody else, not for people who are watching from afar. You're doing it for yourself because you love to do it.
Yeah.
And you work hard at making sure that you are good at it, that you study your craft and you become good at it because you want to be good at it, right? And so it's sometimes we forget that we do things maybe for views, maybe for people to laugh or people to, to react to it, but you forget that you should be doing it for how you feel about what you're doing. Like you have to love what you're going to do, So I get that. All right, so we're up to 4. So he says, you have had moments where life tested you emotionally and mentally, including losing people you loved deeply. How did those experiences change the way you approach life instead of it breaking you?
I guess the grief part, like grief didn't in my life, it actually reshaped it and gave me a different perspective on how I live it now.
Yeah, it actually inspired you.
Well, I've had that in my heart for many years. I'm taking action now because there is a process.
Yeah.
That grieving process it's a B.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And when you get out of, your head, right, with the doubts and like, no, what are people gonna think? No, you have to get out of your head. So
No, it's true. Everything has its purpose at its own time.
yeah.
All right, so number 5, moving from Florida to New Jersey meant starting over in so many ways. What did that transition force you to let go of, and what did it unlock in you?
I had to let go of routines, of familiarity, things that I know, and adapt.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. When you have to adapt, it's like you have to rebuild and adapt yourself and start over. And that whole starting over is the most difficult part. That's why people stay in situations, because they're afraid of restarting. So
true.
yeah.
So true. Good. Okay, so 6, you have balanced motherhood, education, and entrepreneurship with very little room for failure. What inner belief kept you standing when quitting would have been easier?
Responsibility go hand in hand with purpose. So to me, is that responsibility and purpose.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very important. All right, last one. You've been working on your book for years, fueled by purpose, experience, and legacy. When readers finally hold it in their hands, what do you hope they understand about it?
Acceptance and kindness. We need a little bit more of that in this one. Not a little bit. We need acceptance and kindness in the world.
Yeah. Well, Joes, you said it all. This is awesome. Thank you. I want to say before we end, I want to say thank you. You showed up as a mother when it was hard. You kept moving with grief when it tried to stop you. And you chose purpose when life gave you pain. Thank you for trusting me with your story. And I'm honored, really honored, that you chose Digo Yo to share your story. I am.
You're welcome, and I'm proud of you for getting out of your head and actually doing something that brings you joy. because that's what life is all about, doing the things that light us up.
Thank you. All right. So, you guys, thank you for listening. It means a lot to me, for real. And so thank you for being here to hear the story. If you're not already, follow, share, and leave comments. I would love to hear from y'all and what you have to say about any of my episodes. So please just put your comments. I'll read them. I'll answer them. I'll do it. Don't worry about it. And come back for more conversations, please. There's going to be a lot more of these. And so I appreciate you for listening. Until next time, this is Digo Yo. Peace.